Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and good evening, and what's up, everybody? Welcome to Hardcore Heels. I know the intro says Matt and Monsters. We still haven't been able to work out making a new intro yet for Hardcore Heels, but you're listening to Hardcore Heels. I am your host, Sewer Dweller, and unfortunately tonight I am all alone. But I think I'd have a decent show in store for you guys tonight because hello. Because needless to say, it's been a chaotic week in professional wrestling, in WWE especially, with everything that happened in Elimination Chamber. Monday Night Raw kind of shocked everybody. We've had 2 title changes this week, like just out of nowhere. So we're going to get talking about that. We got some news to talk about, some rumors going around out there and everything. So we're going to start, of course, with last week's WWE Friday Night Smackdown on USA, live from the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I will say Smackdown is kind of getting a little boring, only because it's 3 hours. In all honesty, I think if it went back to a 2-hour format, I think it would be just fine. But the 3 hours is kind of just like dragging it on. I know WWE has nothing to do with that. It is strictly a USA prerogative. It's their prerogative. They want 3 hours worth of wrestling on their network, so they're going to get 3 hours worth of wrestling on their network. But we start out SmackDown with Wade Barrett and Joe Tessitore on commentary, and it kicks off with a video package of The Rock and Cody Rhodes. You know, The Rock basically telling Cody he wants his soul. So back in the arena, we start out with our first match, or actually our first promo, with Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton come out, and they're wearing Toronto Maple Leafs hockey jerseys, and essentially decide to throw their jerseys into the crowd. They cut a quick promo on Nia and Nia and Candice LeRae until they are interrupted by our Women's United States champion, Chelsea Green, and her bodyguard, Piper Niven. Or I guess it's her head of security, I think is what she calls her. But they come out and basically Chelsea, it's kind of weird because Chelsea actually gets like the bigger pop. Like Trish Stratus might be the hometown hero, but I think Chelsea Green got a bigger pop than Trish Stratus did. Well, let's also talk about, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about the crowd after we get into Elimination Chamber. But Trish, Chelsea comes out, calls it a snooze fest, and nobody wants them hogging up the airtime. And Chelsea tells them that she deserves the airtime because she is the United States Women's Champion. And she says, much like Austin Matthews, she's the best thing to step into Scotiabank Arena tonight. But unlike Matthews, she actually wins. Chelsea and Piper get in the ring, and Chelsea tells Trish that the moment she left this dump, everything became better. And I'm pretty sure she's trying to trash the city, who is cheering for her. But basically, it's a quick back and forth, and it turns out they were supposed to have a mystery opponent for Chelsea Green tonight, and it turns out to be the women's champion, Tiffany Stratton, which kind of made no sense to me, but I was fine with it. Tiffany Stratton, Chelsea Green, they have a match. It's good. Didn't last long. Tiffany Stratton wins when Nia interferes. Yeah, Nia and Candice come out, interfere. They attack Trish, and they drag Tiffany to the outside and beat her up a little bit. So she wins via disqualification. And essentially, Trish and Tiffany start, coming back. They beat up Nia. They stare Candice down. They fight a little bit more, and then Tiffany Stratton eventually hits the prettiest moonsault ever onto, or was going for the prettiest moonsault ever, but Nia yanks Candice LeRae to the outside. So we get a title. We get the women's champion versus the U.S. champion. So it wasn't a bad match, but just they had a lot of fuckery going on. Which if you've watched wrestling for more than 5 minutes, you knew that there was gonna be fuckery in that match. So we move on to a promo with Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and Tama Tonga. They do announce a number one contenders tournament for the night for the United States Championship. And they talk about Solo Sikoa's United States Championship qualifying match. And Solo tells him that the family needs to make a statement, and that's why Jacob is going to run the play tonight. And he tells Jacob to bring home the United States Championship to the family. Can't call them the bloodline anymore, but they are the family, I guess. Solo tells him that everything he is doing is to show Jacob how much he loves him, and Jacob stares at him and walks away. Solo is totally going to turn on Jacob. I mean, if you can't see that coming from a mile away. And so we go back to the back, and we see platters with sushi and different kinds of food on a table with two men telling Cody to enjoy, and they walk away. So basically, The Rock still is trying to butter Cody up. We see R-Truth sitting on the couch because basically The Rock gave Cody his dressing room, brought him some sushi and different other kinds of food. And R-Truth, when he goes in, R-Truth is sitting on the couch and asks Cody how he got all of this. Cody tells him he has to consider selling his soul to The Rock. And R-Truth tells him that The Rock is the soul man, and he used to watch him tag team with Tony Atlas, because he's hilarious. Yeah, come on, it's true. He's a national treasure. And Truth asks Cody if he's going to keep all the food to himself and be selfish. Cody laughs and tells him to help himself. Then we move on to our first United States Championship qualifying match. Andrade versus Jacob Fatu. The bell rings, and basically the crowd is 100% behind Fatu. I think because they kind of know Andrade stands a snowball's chance in hell of winning this match. So yeah, it's kind of a back and forth, but Fatu dominates most of the match and wins. Moving on to the triple threat final for the main event on SmackDown. We see a clip of Nick Aldis with the Street Profits and Legado del Fantasma from earlier in the day, Santos Escobar welcomes the Street Profits back, and he asks for an apology because they were accused of taking them out months ago. Nick Aldis tells Escobar to think about his match against LA Knight tonight, and he makes a match for the Street Profits versus Los Garza. So we go back to commercial break. We come, of course, Los Garza and the Street Profits. The Street Profits are making their way down to the ring. But DIY attacks from behind. Los Garza goes out, starts fighting with DIY, and then they all three teams are fighting. And then Pretty Deadly comes out. The officials come out to break it up. Then the Motor City Machine Guns come out, and it's like basically six tag teams, five or six tag teams fighting each other right now. It's five tag teams. I'll probably throw a sixth one in there. You got yourself a tag team ladder match for multi-team 6-man or 16 tag team ladder match for WrestleMania. That's what I would assume. That's pretty fucking awesome if it is. If you guys have different thoughts, let me know. Let me know in the comments section. We go back and Drew McIntyre is with Cody backstage, and he tells Cody that he remembers 10 years ago that they were so low on the card, and now look where they are. He tells Cody that it said a lot when Cody didn't give The Rock an answer last week right away. But The Rock will be surprised when he realizes that Cody sold his soul a long time ago. Are we foreshadowing? So we'll come back from commercial, and we get a TKO Western Australia video package, and it essentially announces that WWE will return to Perth, Australia this year. I would assume for a pay-per-view down the road, maybe even SummerSlam. I think SummerSlam's already been announced for this year, actually. So, yeah, just probably maybe Money in the Bank or something. We get a video package on John Cena, and then we hear Drew's voice saying to cut it off. The camera cuts to Drew, who is basically walking out of the crowd, and tells Cena that you either live long enough to see yourself go from the hero to hypocrite. He says after the Rumble, Cena used his stroke to put himself in the Elimination Chamber, which he did. He didn't have to qualify like everybody else. But aside from CM Punk, no one has said anything about John Cena. He says he isn't afraid of Cena and he will say stuff about him. Drew sits on the announce table and says that he wonders what John Cena in 2010-2011 would say about present-day John Cena. He might start off with a childish joke, tear himself apart for the going to Hollywood, and he would rip apart that giant bald spot on his head that deserves its own area code. Yeah, it's still weird that they haven't done anything to cover that bald spot up. He says this is past John Cena saying it. But what he wants to say is that politically, Cena can end a career so quickly, but Drew will bury Cena in the chamber. Drew says in 2024 he was screwed, and time and time again, people cheered the Toronto screw job at the Money in the Bank. As he is speaking, basically Damian Priest comes out, and he tells Drew enough. All he does is complain. He says people see right through him, and calls him delusional. He tells him, our truth makes more sense than he does, and the truth is that he hears that Drew is upset about this place in his career. Priest says Drew won the title at WrestleMania, but because of his obsession with Punk, he cashed in. At Money in the Bank, Drew wins the Money in the Bank, but he gets pinned again. Pinned by him and by, Damian again. Because of his weird obsession with Punk. He tells Drew that tomorrow at the Chamber, the goal is to win, but he will take pride in winning, in pinning him. A loud CM Punk chant from the crowd. Drew stands up, and Priest tells him the last time they were in this building, Priest dropped his ass. Then Seth Rollins' music comes out, and here comes Seth freaking Rollins. Seth gets in the ring, and the people continue. They basically, do chant his song. In case you haven't noticed, WWE fans like sing-alongs. They really do. So Drew stands up on the announce table and Seth says it has been a while since he's been on SmackDown. Seth tells him that they all have so much fun talking about Money in the Bank that he wanted to join in. He has specific memories about that night. He remembers that if it weren't for some questionable officiating, CM Punk hiding, and Drew having the worst cash in of all time, he would have beat Priest. But he's not here to talk about the past. He is here to talk about the future, and Seth points to the WrestleMania logo. He says it isn't the same Seth that hobbled into WrestleMania last year. He feels great, and the rest do not stand a chance. And, of course, CM Punk's music hits, and he comes out. So Punk walks down, leans on the barricade, saying it is great to be alive. And he says there are a few people he has personal issues with before basically he was drowned out by a CM Punk chant. He begins with Seth saying that Seth looks like an oven mitt, and he cooked him January 6th, and he will cook him again tomorrow night. He tells Priest they are cool. He has nothing against them, but if the cage door opens tomorrow, Priest will be collateral damage. Points to Drew and Seth, saying they are obsessed with him, but he is obsessed with his road to WrestleMania, his main event, and if he has to beat them all, he will. So basically, he keeps going on. Now Punk brings up the fact. He says everyone gets better get serious real fast, and if someone wakes up tomorrow not wanting to show up, just like John Cena tonight, he understands Punk says this is about him. Or just like John Cena tonight, he understands. Punk says this is about him. Rollins tells Punk that he will not main event WrestleMania, not over his dead body. Seth says it's not himself, it's Punk. Drew tells Seth that he beat him at WrestleMania. And as for Punk, it's been 6 months. He is due an injury. Priest tells Drew that he doesn't know why he is talking. When the chamber is over, all Drew is going to do is complain on the internet. John Cena's music hits. The crowd goes wild. And then immediately starts booing because it's Logan Paul. I will say, this man knows how to he has the crowd wrapped around his fingers because he can do anything and he will get the loudest boos of the night. And the Toronto crowd hates him. I will tell you that right now. Toronto hates him. He asked Toronto what happened if they thought that was John Cena. Logan says that Cena doesn't care about Canada. They can't see Cena but they could see him. But they can see Logan. And then Logan tells them to look at him. The full-timers putting in the work while Cena doesn't show up. A classic celebrity wrestler. Pot, kettle. Logan asks who the guy in red is, and it's Seth Rollins. The peacock of WWE. The guy who wears curtains to work. He says Seth is a great wrestler, but he dresses like he lost a bet. He says he looks like Lady Gaga if she threw up on a coat hanger. He tells Drew that he is right at home. He can't win a championship, and neither can the Toronto Maple Leafs. And, of course, that gets a lot of boos from the crowd. He tells Priest that he barely knows anything about him. Irrelevancy. He can't relate. But he heard he used to be world champion, but that just goes to show that you can have a Priest standing in the middle of the ring, but he still remains the answer to WWE's prayers. That's a good line. That was a good line. He says he wishes he could slap that expression off of Punk's face, but he did that already on Monday. Punk walks towards Logan, but Logan leaves to the back. Drew walks through the crowd. Punk, Priest, and Seth all look at each other. And the segment ends. Good. It was a good segment. It was a good build for Elimination Chamber, and it did its job. It did what it was supposed to do to get over that everybody's pissed off at, everybody's pissed off. Cena's not there. Kind of painted Cena out as a heel already. So we move on to our next United States Championship qualifier, which is LA Knight versus Santos Escobar, a match we have seen before. and it's almost the same match. LA Knight, but it was the match did end up pretty cool because when Santos Escobar goes for a crossbody, LA Knight basically counters it, lands the BFT in midair, and goes for the cover and gets the pin. So now we have LA Knight and Jacob Fatu in the main event triple threat match to see who will be the number one contender for the United States Championship. We come back from commercial and Sami Zayn's music hits, and out he comes to the ring. He begins saying, that to say that they have been through a lot together would be an understatement. The thing is, he feels like Owens has been doing a lot of running and hiding, but he knows for a fact that Owens is in Toronto, which he's right. Owens is not, but except Owens is not at the Scotia Bank Center. Owens is across the street at the Rogers Center. And they basically cut their final promos before their unsanctioned match the next night. And it's great. It's just such a good promo. We cut to Carmelo. They finished their promo. We cut to Carmelo Hayes, who was with the Miz in the back, and they're talking about Carmelo's match tonight. Miz tells him they are awesome, and Miz tells Carmelo to do the thing he showed him tonight, but Carmelo says he won't and walks away. In comes Cody, and Miz asks Cody what he's going to do. He tells Cody that he lives in Hollywood and The Rock runs it. He tells the WWE universe. He tells him that the WWE universe does not get it. They see Cody at the top, but they both know that there is so much more, and Cody wants more. He tells Cody the only way to get that he will be able to get it is to take The Rock's offer. And if he doesn't, maybe someone else will. We come back from the commercial, and the bell rings, and we are underway. Was this? Yeah, I think this. If I remember, I think this was the final U.S. Title, the final U.S. U.S. champion, United States Championship qualifier match. I believe this is that is the last one. Well, thank you. I try sometimes. So, was this the United States? I don't think this was. Nope, never mind. It is. Well, yeah, basically it's back and forth match until with Strowman basically beating the snot out of Hayes until Tama Tonga runs in with a steel chair, slides the chair in the ring, gets on the ring apron and distracts the ref. Solo Sikoa comes from behind and hits Strowman with the chair, but Strowman just looks at him like, really, bitch? Strowman takes Solo down, and Tama Tonga goes for a right hand on the Strowman, but Strowman throws him onto the announce table. Carmelo Hayes grabs the chair and throws it to Strowman, who catches it. Hayes drops to the mat as if he got hit, and the referee turns, and Carmelo Hayes has Eddie Guerrero Braun Strowman because the ref calls for the bell. So we get the classic Eddie Guerrero spot. We cut to the back. We see Naomi, Bianca Belair, and Bayley. They talk about Elimination Chamber match tomorrow night. All three are in it. Then we cut to Roxanne Perez, and her music plays, and she comes out. Then her music is cut, and out come her tag team partners, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, as we get a 6-woman tag team match. Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, and Roxanne Perez. I take it back. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, the new women's tag team champions, and Roxanne Perez versus the former tag team champions, Bianca Belair and Naomi, and Bayley. It was a match. It happened. Bayley goes for Bayley to the end of the match comes. Bayley goes for Bayley to belly. But Perez with a kick followed by Pop Rocks as she gets the cover and the pin, cleanly pinning Bayley. Perez stands in the ring, but Alexa Bliss gets in behind her and basically hits her with the Abigail DDT. Which is basically a Sister Abigail with a DDT instead of the whole, So we cut backstage, and Byron Saxton is standing back there with Charlotte, and he asks her about Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus. Charlotte tells him that she thinks Tiffany and Trish are cute, but once the smoke clears, Tiffany has a bigger problem to deal with because there will be no help for her at the end of that rainbow, and she will see her at WrestleMania. We get a video package of Shinsuke Nakamura. Talks about how he will defeat whoever wins tonight. I love these video packages. I love this new look from Shinsuke. I think he looks so badass. He just looks so badass. We cut back to the arena and we see Solo Sikoa telling Jacob Fatu that they took care of Braun Strowman, and Jacob Fatu begins walking towards the ring as his music plays. So here's our main event: the United States Championship #1 contender triple threat match. Jacob Fatu versus Carmelo Hayes versus L.A. Knight. We need Matt here to do his yeah. So we basically it was actually a good match. It was really good. There was a little. I think there was there. I thought there was a little fuckery going around. But L.A. Knight goes for the cover. Basically, L.A. Knight hits. Or Fatu hit with the hip attack on the Hayes, followed by the spike DDT and jumping moonsault. He goes for the cover, but LA Knight drags him to the outside. LA goes for the cover, gets the pin. LA Knight is now, once again, the #1 contender for the United States, for the Men's United States Heavyweight Championship. Congratulations. We cut to the back, and Cody Rhodes is with CM Punk. Punk tells Cody that The Rock wants his soul, but Cody has everything. What could The Rock want from him? Punk tells Cody that young Punk would have taken that offer, and he would like to see Cody take that offer. To take it, shine it up real good, turn it sideways, and shove it up his part-time Hollywood ass. Punk tells him that Cody got to where he is because of his hard work, and he tells him that he will, and Punk says he will win Elimination Chamber, and he will see Cody in the main event of WrestleMania. Back for a commercial, and Michael Cole's in the ring, and he introduces the undisputed WWE Champion, Cody Rhodes, to the ring. Michael Cole tells him that the Elimination Chamber is tomorrow, and he will have to make a decision. He asks Cody if he will sell out to The Rock or not, and he says to Cody that he knows he would not take this offer. And he main evented 2 WrestleManias. He finished his story, and now he represents everyone. He is living up to his father's legacy. As Cole is speaking, he says he is getting a message, and we see a red truck drive onto the stage with Cody's American Nightmare logo on it. On the big screen is a black SUV when The Rock steps out. The Rock tells Cody that The Rock is coming. He is ready to board, and tomorrow Cody will make the decision of a lifetime. He knows it. The Rock knows it. They have been texting and talking all week. He knows that Cody is going to do the right thing. He tells him to enjoy his gift. He says Cody loves to drive on the open road, the dangerous road, the beautiful road, on the dusty roads. You get it? Speaking of Dusty, God bless his soul. The Rock has been talking to him all week, and Dusty told him that Cody has been talking to him all day, and he knows that Cody will make the right decision. The Rock tells Cody that Cody will hug him tomorrow and give him his soul. Every opportunity he ever thought of will come true. All of his dreams will come true with one decision. The Rock tells him that he made a gift, that he had a gift made for him, and he shows him a weight belt with the words Cody's soul and the date of June 11th, 2015. For those not in the know, that is the day that Dusty Rhodes passed away, Cody's father. The Rock tells him he loves him, and he boards the plane as Smackdown goes off the air. So Smackdown, great go-home show, pushed forward every storyline going into the show. People were still complaining and whining that, the road to WrestleMania isn't that interesting. It isn't that good this year. Let them cook. Let him cook. Stop being impatient. Let him do his thing, because that was a great SmackDown. That was a good smack. It was a good one. So now, 24 hours later, we move across the street to the Rogers Center in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. For Elimination Chamber, on commentary, you have Michael Cole, Wade Barrett, and Pat McAfee. And the first match up, of course, we get the video of everybody showing up and that, the Elimination Chamber begins lowering to the ring. And we start with the Women's Elimination Chamber match. Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Bayley, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, and Naomi. So, and of course, the winner of this match will compete for the Women's World Championship at WrestleMania 41. And then whether they will face Rhea Ripley or Io Sky as the champion at the event will be decided Monday on Raw. So, everybody's in their chambers. The match is going to start with Liv Morgan and Naomi. And just as they're about to shut the cage to start the match, Jade Cargill's music hits. Morgan looks terrified. Jade starts walking to the ring with a purpose. We see Jade get into the chamber, and before she stops the referees from closing the door. Jade gets in the chamber, and you think she's gonna go for Morgan, but she pivots and starts attacking Naomi, like beating the shit out of Naomi. Now, in the background, you have Bianca Belair putting on one hell of a performance and doing amazing acting, because she's freaking the fuck out in that cage, in that pod, while Jade is beating the living shit out of Naomi. She gives her a big boot through into one of the glass pod doors, and as Naomi's trying to climb out the door, Jade takes the cell door and slams it on her head. Needless to say, Naomi is no longer medically cleared to compete, and she has been eliminated. Morgan stands in the ring. She looks at, she's looking at Bianca Belair and telling her, I told you, I fucking told you, I didn't do it. We didn't do it. So the countdown happens. The door opens and it's Bianca. Bianca's next into the match. She's taking a moment to collect herself before running. She's trying to run over to the door to go out, as Naomi's being loaded on the stretcher. She wants to get out, but the door is locked. Morgan attacks her and starts fighting with her. And Belair fights back, punches at Morgan. She keeps trying to get out, but then she finally just starts focusing on the match. The countdown clock begins, and it's Roxanne Perez now in the match. There's some more wrestling. They're fighting everywhere. We have Liv Morgan and Perez face off in the ring for they're trying to pin each other. They do almost like the WrestleMania 6 double clothesline that Hogan and Ultimate Warrior did. They Perez and Morgan wipe each other out with a double clothesline. The clock starts counting down, and now Bayley's in the match. So she starts doing her stuff. We're still getting 2 counts. No one's been eliminated yet. Alexa Bliss is smiling in her pod as her opponent, basically all the opponents destroy each other. And then the clock counts down, and here comes Alexa Bliss. So I take it back. I said no one's eliminated. No, Naomi's eliminated. Naomi is eliminated. Nobody else has been eliminated, though. So we go through the match. There's roll-ups for 2s. There's pretty cool moves going on. And finally, Perez attempts a moonsault. Bayley gets the knees up. Roxanne Perez. Oh, that's not mine. Perez attempts a moonsault, but Bayley gets the knees up. Perez counters a rose plant, but Bayley dumps her to the floor shortly after. Morgan hits Bayley. Liv Morgan hits Bayley with the Oblivion for the elimination. Bayley has been eliminated from the match. Hold on, guys. Sorry about that. I don't know if you guys hear, but there's a car alarm going off outside, and almost thought it was mine. Kind of freaking out a little bit there. But Bayley has been eliminated from the match. Bianca gets up and eyes Morgan up. Morgan tries to run away, scale the pod, and she attacks. Bianca's chasing her. They fight around a little bit. Morgan, basically, we're gonna skip ahead a little bit. Morgan gets up, goes for Oblivion on Bianca, but Perez super kicks her, kicks Morgan. Perez drives Bianca into the turnbuckle. Perez goes for pop rocks, but Belair pops her off. Morgan hits Roxanne with a code breaker. Bliss follows up with Twisted Bliss, and 1, 2, 3. Roxanne Perez has been eliminated from her very first Elimination Chamber. So we get some more wrestling. Bliss hits crisscross applesauce in the middle of the ring. Bliss kicks Morgan away and ducks an attack from Belair. Belair goes for a KOD, but Morgan catches Alexa. Alexa hits Morgan with a head scissor takeover. Basically, we're getting a good triple threat match now. Morgan pulls Bliss off, and she starts to do the Three Amigos on Bianca before Liv complete, or she actually does hits. She does the Three Amigos on Bianca, and she shimmies a la Dirty Dom or Eddie Guerrero shimmy. Morgan hits Belair with an enziguri. Belair is against the ropes. And Morgan goes for a 619, but Alexa intercepts her. Morgan counters out of Sister Abigail with a roll up for 2. Belair goes for KOD on Morgan, but Liv gets out. Belair rolls her up for a 2 count. Alexa quickly hits Belair with Sister Abigail. Liv then hits Bliss with a jackknife pin. 1, 2, and 3. Alexa Bliss has been eliminated. Now, I will say you didn't see anything in tonight's matches with that. But I don't know if anybody's been paying attention or not. Every time Alexa's on TV anymore, except for at Elimination Chamber, they're doing the Wyatt stuff. What part didn't you guys hear? I think I thought I turned it back on after. Are you talking about the car alarm? Good. That's good. That's good. You guys couldn't hear the car alarm. Like I said, I thought it was my car because it sounded a little bit like mine, but it was not, thankfully. So Alexa's mad. Morgan drags Belair into the center of the ring by her braids, or by the braid. Yeah, there was one moment where they were on top where Alexa and Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair were on top of one of the pods, and Bianca slapped her with the ponytail, with the braids, so fucking hard. It left a welt. And you heard that shit. Sounded awesome. So we go back to the end, to the finish of the match. Belair goes to the top for a 450 splash, but Morgan gets the knees up. Bianca soon tries to fight back with a KOD, but Liv lands on her feet, hits a code breaker. Morgan goes for Oblivion, but Bianca counters into a KOD for the 1, 2, 3 and the win. Bianca Belair is going to WrestleMania 41 to face either Rhea Ripley or Io Sky for the Women's World Championship. Belair poses and points at the WrestleMania sign as the fireworks go off behind her. Not a bad women's Elimination Chamber match. Again, they've been killing it the past few years. I know their Rumble wasn't. I don't think their Rumble was all that good this year, but Elimination Chamber was good. I enjoyed it. I was, The return at the beginning kind of, didn't really. I kind of knew. I figured it was going to happen, but Bianca goes up the aisleway, and all of a sudden Rhea Ripley emerges from behind and stares her down, and then Io Sky stands between them because who's going to WrestleMania. We get a shot of Grammy-nominated rapper Nav at ringside. I have no fucking clue who this is. In all honesty, I have no idea who it is. So our next match, we get Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton, the hometown heroes, Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. I will say the crowd was fucking dead for this match. As they should have been. It wasn't good. It was kind of boring. Went on a little too long for my liking. But eventually, Trish Stratus, Tiffany Stratton hits the prettiest moonsault ever on Nia Jax, of all people, for the win. The crowd was they were sitting on their hands for this match. So I'm not gonna lie. I'll talk about the crowd now. The crowd in Toronto, it fucking sucked. Like, they didn't react to anything. They it was like I said, they was almost like they were sitting on their hands all night long. And I don't think I'm the only one that noticed it, but it was like they were sitting on their hands all night long until the very end, of course. But they weren't one of those loud, obnoxious foreign crowds, I guess you could call them, or a loud, obnoxious crowd at all. And that's what brings out the best in wrestling, are loud, obnoxious crowds, But they announce again that WWE is returning to Perth. We get a backstage segment with Travis Scott, just walking. Then we go back to the crowd where they introduce Andrew Fung of Kim's Convenience on Netflix. Again, no fucking clue who this is. He is at ringside. Robbie Amell is also there, seated next to Italia Ricci. Again, people I don't know who these people are. We get a backstage segment. Drew McIntyre's brooding. Damian Priest standing in front of a Yankees logo, which in Toronto, really? Seth freaking Rollins shown warming up, and then WWE champion Cody Rhodes is lost in his thought on his bus. It's announced that 38,493 people are in attendance at the Rogers Center for Elimination Chamber. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good turnout, I'd say. Now we move on to the unsanctioned match between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, with referees Rod Zapata, they're just to count to 3 or take the submission. It's funny how the match is unsanctioned, however, there's a referee. So now I will say I did like the WWE logos on the turnbuckles were actually blacked out, so you couldn't see the logo or anything. And then they had like a different lighting for it because they're like, nope, fuck this. We're not sanctioning this match. We're turning the lights off. So they start fighting. Of course, they trading punches, getting into the hockey fight. Zayn takes Owens down, punches away. It was a violent match, I will say this. Like, almost immediately, they started beating the shit out of each other with different, like, hockey sticks, chairs. And they're fighting through the crowd. And it was funny because at one point, Sami Zayn hits Owens with a trash can, and Pat McAfee yells, "Sami Zayn just hit Kevin Owens with Dominic Mysterio." I thought it was funny. So Zayn sends Owens down the steps. Owen grabs a soda can off the table and hits Sami with it. Sami fights back and hits hits the Blue Thunder Bomb through the table. Sami grabs Owen and hits him with another Blue Thunder Bomb variation through the second table right next to it. Drinks and popcorn fly everywhere. The crowd is chanting, "This is awesome." Sammy throws Owens down and grabs the trash can lids. And starts basically bashing Kevin in the KO in the head with it. Owens stumbles a bit before falling, kind of does a flare flop. Sammy hits him a second time. Owens is stumbling to the title area and actually hits Sami Zayn. He pulls a WrestleMania 3 off with Randy Savage and hits Sami Zayn in the head with the ring bell. And they just keep basically hitting each other with different weapons and that. There was the one spot they had set 2 tables up on the outside. Sami Zayn's going for a superplex on Kevin. Kevin flips through. He slips through, slips down, goes through, and then pushes Sami Zayn off the top rope, and he flips off and goes through both stacked tables at ringside. And the crowds chant, "Holy shit." The crowd chants, "Holy shit." Sammy is holding his neck in pain. Owens sets a chair up in the middle of the ring and hits a cradle soup. Basically picks him up, hits a cradle suplex through it. KO goes for the cover. 1, 2, and Sammy kicks out. Owens sits on the mat in frustration. Zayn slaps him in the back of the head. Owens kicks Sammy in the mouth again and hits a pop-up powerbomb. Sammy flies over him and hits a half Nelson suplex. Owens pops up, hits and hits Zayn with a half Nelson suplex through the steel chair. Sammy's down for a little bit, holding his neck. Sami Zayn goes, at one point Sami Zayn goes for the haluva kick, but Owens pulls Rob Zapata in the way, hits the stunner, covers, but there's no referee to count. Here comes our favorite referee running down the ramp, Charles Robinson. He runs down and counts 1, 2. Sami Zayn kicks out. Owens immediately gets up and just clotheslines the shit out of Charles Robinson, killing Charles Robinson. So now referee Ryan Tran runs down to check on Charles Robinson and seemingly take over officiating duties. Owens goes under the ring for a table. Sammy is holding his neck in the center of the ring. KO sets the table and pushes Sammy down before throwing a chair onto his head. Sammy starts to laugh at Owens, so Owens grabs the beard and headbutts him onto the table. KO puts the chair over Zayn's body, goes to the top rope. Sammy gets up, throws the chair into Owens' head. Owens is loopy on the top rope. Sammy slaps Owens in the face and goes for a superplex, but Kevin Owens counters with the Fisherman's Buster off the top rope through the table. These guys are beating the living hell out of each other. Owens takes a few minutes to recover before covering and getting only a 2. WWE officials are run down and start telling Kevin Owens to stop the match. Kevin Owens drives the chair into Sami Zayn's face. WWE producer Petey Williams is telling KO that Sami's had enough. Owens pulls Zayn up in the corner, pulls at his beard. Owens shouts, "This is all Zayn's," tells Sami this is all his fault. Owens charges to the opposite corner, but Sami follows him and hits the haluva kick. Zayn is still holding his neck as he covers Owens for the 1, 2, and a kick out. Sami's left arm is barely moving. Sami's holding his neck and is in a lot of pain. He goes outside, puts 2 more chairs in the ring before pulling out a chair wrapped in barbed wire. Of course, this leads the fans to start chanting for ECW, a dead company, a company that's been dead for 24 years now. Kevin Owens charges, but Sami kicks him and hits him in the back with the barbed wire chair. The crowd chants one more time, and Sami goes, "Okay," and hits him with the second one. KO is selling it like he is being murdered. Sami sets up 2 chairs and puts the barbed wire chair on them as a bridge. Zayn hits a blue thunder bomb through the chairs. 1, 2, and KO kicks out. The crowd chants, "This is awesome." Kevin Owens pulls himself up in the corner somehow, but there's no blood in this entire match, surprisingly. Sammy charges for a haluba kick, but Owens counters with a pop-up power bomb. Zayn immediately holds his neck and rolls out of the ring. Owens grabs a chair and exits the ring before putting it around Sammy's head. Owens drives Sammy Owens drives Sami Zayn with the chair wrapped around his head into the ring post. And I think he does it twice. Yep, Owens grabs him and does it again. An unfortunate fan is shown. Shocked by the violence, the crowd laughs because he did look pretty stupid. So Owens grabs Sami Zayn and hits the apron powerbomb like he did in his first night with the company. But Sami fights it. Owens throws Sami down and hits a second apron powerbomb. Owens rolls Sami into the ring and pins him for the win. Finally ending this bloodshed. I mean, it's not really bloodshed because there was no blood. But what a fucking match. What a fight. So security runs down to keep Owens away from Sami. EMTs immediately get in the ring and start tending to Zayn. Security comes out and basically they're trying to get Owens out of the ring and escort him up the aisleway. Owens goes, "Nah, I'm not done," and starts walking back down to the ring, shoves and punches the security down. KO pulls the ringside mats back and exposes the concrete floor. KO grabs Sami and he sets up for a package pile driver on the concrete. But then we hear voices in our head because Randy Orton has returned. Randy Orton comes out and him and Owen start fighting. Owen looks like he's near tears as he shouts for Orton to ring. Orton gets in the ring and attacks Owens before he drops him with an RKO. Orton in spirit shouts, "You tried to break my neck." Orton grabs a steel chair, looks at it as the crowd as they buzz because the crowd knows what's happening. They know this is not their normal WWE. So Orton backs up into the corner and sets up for the punt kick. Orton charges, but WWE officials run in and they stop him. KO gets out of the ring and retreats up the aisleway. Randy Orton is pissed, so he drops 3 security guards with RKOs. The fourth guy, Randy Orton, tricks him into shake. He goes, shakes Randy Orton's hand, and then Orton hits him with an RKO. Then Orton poses on the turnbuckles. Kevin Owens is your winner of the unsanctioned match at Elimination Chamber. And just if you're gonna watch anything, if you like the violent part of wrestling, that match was awesome. And it also goes to show you can have a giant fight from a blood feud and not have any blood. It's perfectly possible. So we get another video. Stephanie McMahon is going to be hosting a new show highlighting the stories of WWE superstars, and it's called Stephanie's Places, and will air on ESPN Originals. We get a video of Dion Dawkins of the Buffalo Bills at ringside. Nobody gives 2 shits in that crowd. So now we move on to our main event, or not really the main event, the men's Elimination Chamber match. And at this point, my mind is, oh, Brock and Cody aren't before the Elimination Chamber? Oh, something's happening. So Logan Paul comes out and he just starts waving the American flag. Pisses off, and this just shows how great of a heel Logan Paul is. Pisses off the Canadian crowd to the point they were ready to fight this man. So he gets in the ring, gets into his pod, So it's Logan Paul, Damian Priest, CM Punk, John Cena in the pods, and then Drew McIntyre versus Seth freaking Rollins on the out, starting the match out with referee Chad Patton. The winner of this match, of course, will face the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, for the undisputed WWE Championship in the main event of WrestleMania 41. So they start fighting. McIntyre goes to drive Rollins into CM Punk's pod, but Rollins reverses it. Basically, they keep slamming each other into CM Punk's pod, and his light keeps falling down now. Like, there's a light on him, and it keeps falling down, which I thought was funny. So they go. There's really nothing happening, And then finally, Damian Priest is the first to enter the next to enter the match. They start fighting again. It's the triple threat match. Then Logan enters the match. The crowd wakes up a little bit. Paul steps on Damian Priest, hitting a standing moonsault for a 2 count. Paul punches away at Rollins' ribs and face. Paul hits his opponent at WrestleMania. Yeah, basically they wrestled each other at WrestleMania 39. Logan Paul taunts the crowd. Priest soon claps his ears and clotheslines him over the top rope. Priest drives Paul into the pod glass a few times before rocking him with an uppercut. Priest drives Paul's face into the chain link wall, and McIntyre grabs Damian, but Damian drives him into the wall as well. Priest grabs the arm and works the top a la, basically he does old school. Priest then hits a leaping Hurricane Rana on McIntyre on the floor. Well, the outside floor. The countdown starts, and John Cena enters the match, which kind of got me. I thought he'd come in last. But John Cena enters his final Elimination Chamber. Cena hits Rollins with a pair of flying shoulder tackles before dropping Priest with an attitude adjustment. Paul swings, but Cena hits a back suplex powerbomb. Cena then drops Rollins with another attitude adjustment. The crowd roars for Cena, whose last time is now. Cena hits Paul with the 5-knuckle shuffle, followed by an attitude adjustment. McIntyre then crushes Cena with a claymore. McIntyre grabs Cena's face and starts yelling at him, but Priest comes from behind, rolls him up, and has eliminated Drew McIntyre. McIntyre is shocked and looks wildly at the WrestleMania sign. I like this. He slowly turns and looks at the WrestleMania sign like, it's over. I'm not going to be going to WrestleMania this year. McIntyre then crushes Priest. He basically hits Priest with the Claymore before leaving the ring. Logan heads to the top rope, then looks over and climbs to the top of CM Punk's pod. Paul hits Priest with a frog splash from the top of the pod for the 1, the 2, and the 3. Damian Priest has been eliminated. And then the clock begins to count down. Logan Paul waits outside of CM Punk's pod, waiting for him. You can tell these two want to go at it. The countdown finishes. Punk's pod opens, and they immediately start trading punches. They wrestle around for a little bit. They fight around for a little bit. We get back inside the ring. Classic Cena boo-yay spot that for a time, Logan Paul then wipes out Rollins and Cena with the buckshot lariat. Paul goes to the floor, sizes Punk up for a buckshot lariat. Punk counters it, slaps him in the face, and then hits the GTS for the 1, the 2, and the 3. Logan Paul has been eliminated. So now we are down to John Cena, CM Punk, and Seth freaking Rollins. They take some time to let the buzz in the crowd build. Rollins goes after them both. Cena and Punk take turns punching him. Cena lifts Rollins, and Punk hits the ropes to complete. Basically, they hit a heart attack on him. Cena and Punk paying homage to the legendary Hart Foundation in Canada. Bret Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Cena and Punk are now preparing to face off. And Cena extends his hand. Punk hugs him. It's a nice moment. Maybe one of the last times these two get to face each other. But Cena ducks a right hand and hits a pair of flying shoulder tackles. Punk counters with a back suplex powerbomb into a headlock takeover. Punk connects with a running high knee in the corner. Cena counters the bulldog attempt into a back suplex power. There's basically that, gut wrench powerbomb or whatever you want to call it. So Cena goes for the 5-knuckle shuffle, blocks a kick from Punk. Cena attempts the STF, but Punk just basically fights out of it. CM Punk goes for the GTS. John Cena blocks it and applies the STF again. Punk screams in pain before slipping his arm under the grip, sliding out, and then Punk locks in the Anaconda Vice to Cena. Cena rolls onto his shoulders for a 2 count. CM Punk quickly hits a swinging neck breaker. So basically, some good back and forth action between Punk and Cena. Cena heads to the top rope, but Rollins sweeps the feet. Rollins hits Cena with a power bomb into the chamber wall before he basically hits the buckle bomb on Cena through the into the chain, and then hits another powerbomb into the chamber wall before sending him through the pod. Before he sends Cena through the pod glass. Rollins looks at the carnage before turning out to go after Punk, and we get these two fighting again. Punk rolls him up for 2. They counter each other before Rollins hits a pedigree for a near fall. Rollins is infuriated that he can't shake this ghost, and they fight around for a little bit. Rollins goes for the GTS, or Punk goes for GTS on Rollins. Rollins slips off, rolls him up. Rollins powers him up, hits the buckle bomb. Rollins immediately follows up with a stomp. 1, 2, Punk kicks out. Rollins is pissed. He sizes Punk up as he goes to the second rope. Cena returns, grabs Rollins off the rope. Rollins slides off, but Punk grabs him and hits a GTS. Rollins stumbles back into Cena, who hits him with the attitude adjustment. Punk covers Rollins for the 1, the 2, and the 3. CM Punk has once again pinned Seth freaking Rollins, thus eliminated his chances to main event WrestleMania. So it's down to Cena and Punk. Cena wants a handshake. Punk obliges and immediately tries to put him in GTS. 1, 2, 3. Or 1, 2. Cena kicks out. Punk pulls up. Pulls Cena up. Cena catches him with an attitude adjustment. 1, 2. Punk kicks out. Cena grabs Punk's leg for an STF, but Punk grabs the ropes and kicks him away. As Punk is trying to pull himself up, Rollins comes over and hits the stomp on Punk on the chamber floor. John Cena seizes the opportunity, locks Punk in the STF. When the referee checks on CM Punk, he is unconscious. The referee stops the match. Your winner of the Men's Elimination Chamber, John Cena. John Cena is going to WrestleMania 41 to pursue his record-breaking 17th World Championship as he challenges the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. Again, great match. A lot of storytelling going on in that match. A lot of stuff going down. It made me more excited for WrestleMania. John Cena is celebrating, and then we hear that familiar wrestling has more than one royal family. And the undisputed WWE Champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, John Cena's opponent at WrestleMania 41, heads to the ring. John Cena holds the ropes open for the champion. John Cena says he respects Cody, but he's coming for the title. Cody extends his hands, and John Cena shakes it. And then if you smell what The Rock is cooking. Now, for some fucking reason, Travis Scott comes out holding the old WWE Hardcore title. And he comes onto the stage, and he is soon joined by the final boss, The Rock. The Rock shows off his goosebumps again, shakes hands with Travis Scott, and they head to the ring. So The Rock takes his time getting to the ring, of course. Finally gets in before looking at Cody Rhodes. John Cena and Travis Scott, they're standing in the background. The Rock grabs Rhodes' face and backs up. The Rock says, Cody Rhodes, the moment has arrived. I will open my arms, and you will come to me. You will come to me, you will embrace me as your brother, and I will embrace you as my champion. I want it all, Cody. I want your mind. I want your soul. And God have mercy, I need your soul. If the answer is yes, then the American nightmare will live forever. Look me in the eyes. If your answer is no, then tonight the dream dies again. The Rock opens his arms. Cena is gesticulating in the background. Rhodes picks up the microphone and says, I want it all, Rock. Rhodes continues, but my soul no longer belongs to me. The crowd gasps. Rhodes asks, and do you know why? Personally, I thought he was going to say he gave his soul to his wife or his kid or something like that. But he says, because I gave my soul to this ring and these people a long time ago, and the crowd goes crazy. The Rock smirks, and Rhodes, they uncensored, by the way, he goes, hey, Rock, go fuck yourself. And the crowd goes crazy. Peacock did not bleep it. WWE did not bleep it. He flat out said, Rock, go fuck yourself. John Cena gets excited. The Rock is just staring. Travis Scott is watching curiously from the corner. The Rock backs up. Cody Rhodes shakes hands with Cena and gives him a hug. But then John Cena looks at The Rock. And if watching it at home, watching it, and if you could see the screen, you saw the look on John Cena's face. John Cena looks at The Rock. The Rock does the throat slash. Cena is excited again, backs up from Cody, and kicks him in the groin. Ladies and gentlemen, John Cena has turned heel. People have been begging for this for well over 15 to 20 years. John Cena has turned heel. John Cena grabs Dusty Rhodes' gold Rolex and starts punching Cody in the face with it. Cena unloads on Rhodes with punches, using the watch, and smashes the microphone on his skull. John Cena has sold his soul to The Rock. Cena grabs the undisputed WWE Championship and smashes Rhodes in the skull with it. Cena looks up at the crowd and holds up the title, and the crowd is cheering. Cody Rhodes is busted open, and he sneers at Cena. Cena sizes him up and hits him with the title again. The Rock is pleased as he looks on. John Cena rips Cody's shirt off and starts choking him with his tie. Michael Cole cannot believe it, and that quote, cannot believe that Rhodes is stupid. Cena is stooping to this shit. That is what he said. Travis Scott grabs Rhodes' arm and talks trash to Rhodes, and then he slaps Rhodes, which we come to find out later on that was a legit work, like, shoot slap. He didn't mean to do it. Basically, it's what happens when somebody who's not trained gets into a wrestling ring. But apparently, I guess he hurt Cody's. I don't know if he broke Cody's orbital bone. I know he had some kind of ear damage too. The Rock. So then The Rock basically opens his shirt and takes off the weight belt. that says Cody's soul. Cena holds Rhodes down as The Rock slaps him basically starts whipping him with the belt. Cena puts a foot on Rhodes' head and poses with The Rock and Travis Scott. John Cena, Travis Scott, and The Rock leave the ring together. The crowd is stunned. A bloodied Cody Rhodes is left in the ring. And The Rock just smiles as we fade to black. 15 years. The IWC and wrestling fans all around the world begged to see John Cena as a heel. It took Vince McMahon going away and John Cena becoming a part-timer to fulfill the wishes of most wrestling fans to turn John Cena heel. What a moment. And we still have 7 weeks until WrestleMania. And we have 3 minutes until we will return. Because we're going to take a quick ad break real quick, guys. When we come back, we'll talk about Raw. We'll talk about NXT. And some news going around. Some rumors in that. But guys, 3 minutes. We'll be right back.
Greetings and shabibans. We are the Retro Reductopus Cephala Podcast, a long-form bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
Well, that sounds good, but I don't know what all those words mean.
I think what Parasite Steve's trying to say is that on Retro Reductopus, we explore a range of retro goodness, from toys, video games, and movies, to cartoons, and even snacks and school lunches.
Oh.
And we do it all with a positive spin, a slew of killer guests, and some very adult language.
And you know what else is cool?
No.
This crazy show is part of the Door King Podcast Network with new episodes every Tentacle Tuesday.
What's that?
And if waiting 2 weeks for a new episode gives you a sad, know that we drop bonus episodes all the time, like the off-format Crow's Nest and an interview series we call The Brig.
You can listen to Retro Reductopus on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any app that's cool enough to carry the only show that celebrates all the things that make growing up awesome.
And just like that, we're back. Welcome, everybody, to Hardcore Heels. I am your host, Sewer Dweller. All alone tonight. just because some things came up with everybody else. So you just get me. So we just covered SmackDown, the recap of SmackDown. We recapped Elimination Chamber and the monster heel turn. John Cena turns heel, shocking the entire wrestling world, and essentially putting us full throttle on the road to WrestleMania. We have 7 weeks, guys. But first, we have to make a stop in Buffalo, New York, at the KeyBank Center, because we have to find out who Bianca Belair will be facing for the WWE Women's Championship. So, of course, we open up on a shot of Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, the home of WrestleMania 41. And then we get the usual stuff. We get the highlights and everything, the pre-show arrivals. So in the parking garage, though, we do see a black truck that drives into the arena, and a pissed off CM Punk emerges. He charges through the backstage area, goes through the gorilla position, makes his entrance, and grabs a microphone from a stagehand before ripping the lid off the commentary table. He stands on the commentary table and says he wants to start this show off with a bang. So this will be fun for him because he will get them canceled from Netflix. This is a State of the Union address. This promo felt like another pipe bomb. It was exciting because it felt like another pipe bomb. They're on the road to WrestleMania, an event some people think he's exhausted all opportunities to main event the show, so he'll address his enemies. Since his name is CM Punk, that appears to be fucking everyone. Who does he start with? Who is the first target? Punk wants a name. The crowd starts to shout, and Pat McAfee shouts, "The Rock." Punk has the camera come up close, and Punk says, "Listen up, Dwayne, you bald fraud." The Rock thinks that he's immune from criticism because he's on the board of directors. He doesn't know who he's dealing with. He's dealing with the best in the world. Punk is middle-aged and crazy. He marched through hell to get opportunities in WWE after returning. The Rock is Mr. Midlife Crisis and thinks he can walk back in when he feels like it. The Rock hides behind the fact that he thinks he's the biggest star here. Punk would love to say this to his face, but he hasn't graced us with his bullshit and basically mocks him tapping his arm. The Rock, to mock, Rock's goosebumps. Punk has never been more delusional and desperate to wear a fake title. And CM Punk chants start firing up. Punk wants to have the People's Championship because he's earned it. Punk said Punk has never been more desperate to sell his soul, and that brings him to John Cena. We can all see through him. Cena stole something from him in the Elimination Chamber. After 20 years of hustle, loyalty, and respect, Punk gave him the benefit of the doubt for not qualifying. Punk won't make that mistake. The people see that Cena was selling bullshit, something Punk has known for a long time. Punk never gave up in the Elimination Chamber. Cena gave up on himself, the people, and the kids. The joke is on Cena, though, because Punk will see him down the road, and he will get his hands on the bald frauds. Cena will make a wish that he never crossed him. I love that line. That line was great. Now for the man of the hour, the person who currently has all of his undivided attention, little brother Seth Rollins, and he tells Becky Lynch that she better come get her man because if he's got to do it, he's putting him in a wheelchair. Burn it down. Seth Rollins' music hits. Punk jumps off the commentary table, charges up the aisleway. Seth freaking Rollins emerges from the back, and they start fighting. And I mean fighting. Like, they're punching each other. They're rolling around. Officials and referees are trying to break them up. They keep breaking free and brawling. The crowd's going crazy. Adam Pearce comes out, tries to gets more security down to the ring. But Rollins and Punk can't be kept away from each other. They avoid security and they brawl in the ring. The crowd starts chanting, holy shit. Security pulls them apart. Rollins fights them off at ringside. Punk and Rollins start fighting against the barricade. And Rollins falls over into the crowd. The crowd is basically just loud. They're loving this. Rollins jumps the barricade and goes after Punk. They fight and tumble over the announcer's table. Pat McAfee shouts, holy shit, Cole. The crowd chants, this is awesome. They're finally being pulled apart. Pierce stands in the middle, but Rollins breaks through, jumps Punk once again, and the fight is on again. Rollins is soon pulled away and throws a bottle at Punk before going up the aisleway. Punk has that wild look in his eyes. But, so we go to commercial. When we come back, we find out that during the commercial break, Rollins jumped the rail and came around to the side, and him and Punk started fighting in the crowd. We see a video of many, this is just an awesome way to open up Elimination, the Raw after Elimination Chamber, after all that chaos, all that shit that went down there. Why not open the show with Rollins and CM Punk just brawling? And it was great. See a video of the fans who recorded themselves reacting to John Cena's heel turn, the podcasters and all that good stuff. We get another replay of last week where Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defeated Bianca Belair and Naomi to win the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. We then cut to the Judgment Day's clubhouse, where WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are hanging out with the rest of the Judgment Day. Liv asks Finn Balor if he's okay, and Balor says no, he's happy for the new champs, even though Liv lost in the Elimination Chamber. What he can't get past is Dominic Mysterio and Carlito getting embarrassed by Braun Breaker. Dominic points out that Balor had a chair in his hand and didn't do anything with it. Dominic says that they had a new member. Balor says they don't. Finn Balor says they don't need one. He'll deal with Braun Breaker tonight. Dominic asks Morgan about Jade Cargill in the chamber, and Morgan says she's staying out of that. Might be smart. In the arena, Otis is in the ring with Alpha Academy. And then World Heavyweight Champion Gunther makes his entrance. Dude, they're giving us Gunther and Otis after that wild-ass brawl. We get a hoss fight. Pulling everything out on Monday. Gunther wants to explain some things to Otis before he embarrasses him. Gunther knows Otis is strong as an ox. Some may call him a freak of nature, but he's just a freak to Gunther. Otis is like Jey Uso, a people pleaser who makes a clown of himself to entertain a degenerate audience. Otis does not belong in his sacred ring. The people don't cheer Otis because they like him. They pity him. Has Otis looked in the mirror? Gunther has. What he saw was him wearing the World Heavyweight Championship as a belt. Otis can't find a belt that fits. The crowd starts to chant for Otis as Gunther says the sad thing is Otis could be great if he had a little bit of self-respect. Gunther says he will teach him some respect right now, just like Jey Uso at WrestleMania. And Gunther blindsides Otis with the big boot. So now we have a non-title match. Otis with Alpha Academy versus World Heavyweight Champion, the Ring General, Gunther. Danilo Amphibio is the referee. So the bell ring, it's, big hoss fight. You got two guys beating the hell out of each other. Gunther kicks Otis and tries for another shoulder tackle, but Otis absorbs it, so Gunther big boots him and knocks him out of the ring. Gunther slaps him from inside the ring, but that just pisses Otis off. Otis rips Gunther out of the ring and hits a fallaway slam on the floor. And we cut the commercial. Otis gets to his feet, and Gunther starts to chop him, but Otis absorbs a couple of them, which Gunther is probably the strongest chopper out there. But Otis is fucking eating them, and rips his shirt off, and they start exchanging chops before Otis hits a headbutt and a clothesline. Otis sends the World Heavyweight Champion to the corner and avalanches him. Gunther quickly boots him back and charges, but Otis lifts him and hits a scoop slam. Otis hits an avalanche, back elbow, and a back elbow to take him down to the canvas. Otis gets the crowd going. Gunther gets up and charges, but Otis slams him down again. Otis hits the caterpillar elbow drop for a 2 count. Otis goes for a Vader bomb, but Gunther moves. Gunther connects with a Tyrannosaurus drop kick before attempting a power bomb, but Otis counters with a back body drop. Gunther quickly starts the fight back with his stiff clubs and a nasty big boot. Gunther finally pulls himself to his feet before leveling him with the lariat. Gunther covers for a near fall. Then Gunther pulls Otis to his feet and sets up for a power bomb. Gunther hits the power bomb on Otis, covers for the 1, the 2, and the 3. Winner by pinfall, World Heavyweight Champion, Gunther. Gunther looks down at Otis and applies the sleeper hold. Tozawa gets in the ring and jumps on Gunther's back. Gunther fights him off and gives him a power bomb onto Otis. Gunther goes to hit Otis with a power bomb on Tozawa, but main event Jey Uso hits the ring to a huge ovation. Gunther attacks him as he gets in the ring, but Uso gets the better of him and hits the spear. Uso holds up the World Heavyweight Championship. But then A-Town Down Under attacks Jey Uso from behind. They double team him before he finishes them off with a super kick and a spear. Gunther then comes up from behind and traps Uso in a sleeper hold. Gunther pulls him down to the mat and puts him to sleep. Gunther gets up and puts a foot on Uso as he holds up the title. We get another video package. After that, we get another video, but I thought that was a good match and, good build for Gunther and Jey Uso. They got to build him up they got to make people believe that Jey can actually win this. So, moving on, though, we get a video package for the Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky. We go on, and now coming up next, the Women's Intercontinental Championship will be defended. But we still go to more video packages. For the UFC lightweight fighter Clay Guida is at ringside. Again, nobody cares. Nobody knows who this guy is. When I say nobody cares, that means nobody reacted at all to this guy. So we get another video of more reactions to John Cena's heel turn at WWE Elimination Chamber. Backstage interview, Kathy Kelly is with AJ Styles, and she asks him about the ending of Elimination Chamber. AJ says he couldn't believe John Cena sold out. But then Karrion Kross embraces him from behind and says it's not that surprising. Kross tries to stir the pot with Styles regarding Logan Paul, and AJ says he's not John Cena. The WWE Universe needs a reminder of who he is, and next Monday in New York at Madison Square Garden, AJ's going to call out Logan Paul and see if he can back up the trash talk. As for Kross trying to be the devil on his shoulder, AJ says God knows his evil ways, and AJ walks off. Kross smiles and says, that was easy. Now we finally go to the Women's Intercontinental Championship match. Ivy Nile, or Lyra Valkyria, defending her championship against Ivy Nile. Eddie Orengo is your referee. It was an okay match for what it was. Valkyria did hits the reverse headlock backbreaker, followed by the Nightwing for the 1-2-3 and the pin, and to keep her Women's Intercontinental Championship. We get a reminder that Evolve debuts on Tubi this Wednesday, which Wednesday has passed. I watched it. It was fun. It was actually really interesting. Two of the people on this show really impressed me a little bit. We'll see what they think of what WWE thinks, but I can't think of their names off the top of my head. But two of them really did impress me. We get footage of CM Punk's fiery promo to kick off the show, and then the massive brawl with Seth Rollins. Backstage, Jackie Redmond is trying to catch up with an irate Seth freaking Rollins, but he sees Punk and charges him, and they start brawling again. But they are quickly pulled apart this time. Commercial break. We're reminded that this is the 18th WWE Monday Night Raw from Buffalo. Then we get another shot of Dion Dawkins, who gets a little bit of a better ovation tonight. At ringside, he is Dion Dawkins of the Buffalo Bills. In Toronto, nobody gave a shit who he was. Nobody knew who he was. In Buffalo, huge ovation. So we get another replay a moments ago with Seth Rollins and CM Punk fighting in the back again. But we cut back and Raw General Manager Adam Pearce is yelling at Seth Rollins. Rollins says he'll ensure that Punk doesn't make it to WrestleMania, and this is the hill that he'll die on. Seth says he wants to finish it. Pearce says Rollins will battle CM Punk in Madison Square Garden next week in a steel cage. And Pearce tells Rollins to finish it. So yeah, this Monday, on Monday Night Raw from Madison Square Garden, we're getting a fucking cage match between Seth Rollins and CM Punk. If that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will. We cut to the ring and Ludwig Kaiser is in it, and he talks about beating Penta and Pete Dunne in a triple threat match last week. Kaiser demands their gratitude. Kaiser has taken back the attention that Penta has had for the last few weeks, and Kaiser deserved it for such a long time. Kaiser says you can boo, but he's a future world champion whether you like it or not. If Penta really thinks that they still have unfinished business, he might want to reconsider. What John Cena did to Cody Rhodes last Saturday is nothing what I'm prepared to do to you, he says to Penta. Ludwig Kaiser said to Penta. They say Penta has no fear, but when he's done with him, Penta will know what fear tastes like. While he's saying this, the crowd starts going crazy because Penta has come out and has kneeled down to do his entrance, which is an awesome entrance. So Penta does his entrance, charges down to the ring. They start fighting. Penta with a Hurricane Run and a super kick goes for the slam, but Kaiser escapes the ring. Kaiser punches him back and gets in the ring, but Penta drops him with the reverse sling blade. Kaiser sends him over Ludwig Kaiser sends Penta over the top rope, but Penta skins the cat and pulls Kaiser out. Kaiser gets on the apron, but Penta hits a springboard clothesline. Penta then charges and hits a tope con hilo, and Penta is left standing tall in the ring. Now, the good news out of AEW this week is that they finally come to an agreement for Rey Fenix to leave the company. Basically, somebody got into Tony's ear and told him to do the right thing because he's looking like a complete jackass right now. So, Phoenix has been released, and hopefully he will be in WWE sooner than later. We go backstage, and Kathy Kelly is backstage with Bianca. She wants to know if Belair has spoken to Jade Cargill or Naomi, and Belair says she doesn't want to talk about that. She wants to focus on who she's facing at WrestleMania. Because in tonight's main event, Rhea Ripley will defend the Women's World Championship against Io Sky. We get a segment of the Creed brothers walking. When we go to commercial, we come back, there's a video playing of Chad Gable in Mexico, and he approaches a woman and asks if she knows this guy. He shows her a name on a flashcard, and Gable asks a few others, with no luck finding the person. Gable comes across an old man. We don't see his face, but Gable asks if he'll help him fight the luchadors. The man says he can't fight what he doesn't understand. He has to become Lucha. Gable asks what he has to do. Gable gives him some money for a box. The man says there is power beyond his understanding. Gable opens the box, but we don't see what's in there. End of segment. I think he got a mask. That's what I'm thinking it is. Thinking it's a mask. Back in the arena, we get a replay from 3 weeks ago where the Creed brothers intentionally got disqualified against the War Raiders, and which leads us to our next match, which is a World Tag Team Championship match. The Creed brothers, Brutus and Julius, versus the War Raiders, Eric and Ivar, with Chad Patton as our referee. They make sure to mention that today is Ivar's birthday. He starts the match out against Julius. It's the typical match, you know. Both teams are big and strong. You got basically a house fight here. Where basically by the end, Brutus basically the end is Julius hits a cartwheel body slam before tagging Brutus in. American Made goes for a Brutus ball, but Eric avoids it. Eric sends Julius out of the ring. Ivar then smashes Julius into the LED apron with a crossbody. Ivar tags in and they hit the War Machine on Brutus for the 1, the 2, and the 3. The War Raiders retain their titles via pinfall over the Creed brothers. We get highlights from the unsanctioned match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn last night. And then Randy Orton making his return and showing us that before he could hit the punt kick, WWE officials stopped him. We get a word from Michael Cole that Sami Zayn is out indefinitely. Then we cut and we get a video from Joaquin Wilde sarcastically congratulating the New Day on beating them up last week. Cruz del Toro says they can't take their hearts. Dragon Lee says they are stronger than ever, and the New Day couldn't finish them off. Rey Mysterio emerges and says they should have finished what they started. The New Day had better savor it, because next week on Raw, they'll give the New Day the worst Monday of their life when they fight in a tornado tag team match. No tags, no disqualifications. Mysterio is proud of the LWO, and they all say the New Day sucks. Back from commercial break, and Finn Balor is standing in the ring. WWE Intercontinental Champion Braun Breaker is in the crowd. Balor says the only reason Breaker still has the title is because the Judgment Day allows him to have it. Braun says he has the title because he's a dog. Last week he embarrassed all the Judgment Day. Balor says he chews rookies like Breaker up for breakfast. In this ring he's untouchable. Balor says Balor can take the title anytime he wants. Breaker is clearly a little smarter than he looks. Staying up, he's basically staying in the crowd so they couldn't jump him. Balor says the dogs won't be barking when we fight. They'll be watching him put Breaker down. Braun Breaker charges down the steps, heads towards the ring. Balor waits for him. Breaker gets to ringside and thwarts a blindside by Carlito. Dirty Dominic Mysterio tries to attack, but Breaker catches him and hits a belly-to-belly suplex on the floor. Breaker gets in the ring and Balor hits a switchblade. Braun Breaker fights him off, but Balor takes him down with a double stomp and hits the double stomp. Breaker quickly pops up and hits the military press power slam. Rips his shirt off, hits the ropes, but Dominic pulls Balor out of the ring before Breaker could essentially destroy Finn Balor. Balor and Mysterio escape. Breaker goes outside and charges around the ring to hit Carlito with the spear on the floor. Braun Breaker stands tall in the ring. We get another Elimination Chamber video of Cody not selling out, all that good stuff. We get the announcements for next week on Monday Night Raw from Madison Square Garden. Jey Uso will face Grayson Waller, Rey Mysterio, and Dragon Lee versus Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston in a tornado tag team match. AJ Styles is going to call out Logan Paul, and of course, what is likely your main event, CM Punk versus Seth freaking Rollins in a steel cage. I'm looking forward to that. You see main event Jey Uso walking backstage when Otis comes up to thank him for his help. Otis shakes his hand. Kathy Kelly then walks up to Jey. She asks if what happened out there has thrown him off his game. And Jey says it threw him off a little bit. It's the wrong time for that. Gunther has him doubting himself. But he'll walk through the valley of the shadow of death to come out on top. Uso leaves the arena with no shirt on. And it's because it's Buffalo, it is of course freezing. We get the tail of the tape for Rhea versus Io Sky, and they keep pushing the fact that Rhea Ripley has never beaten Io Sky. Bianca Belair is at ringside to see who she will face at WrestleMania. So now we have the Women's World Championship, Io Sky versus the champion Rhea Ripley, with Jessica Carr as the referee. So you get a good long match. We're gonna skip to the end. It was, like I said, it was good back and forth, good good match. Ripley, basically Jessica, they almost get counted out. Ripley cannot believe it. Ripley looks back at Belair and Rhea sees that Bianca is clapping for Io. Rhea leaves the ring again to get in Bianca's face, and Ripley shoves Belair down. Bianca grabs Rhea and shoves her in the front of the referee. Jessica Carr gets between them and is giving leeway in this title match. With shoves. It was shoves, guys. Rhea grabs Io Sky, pulls her to the top rope. Belair says she's just here to watch. Ripley goes for a super riptide and says, "See you at WrestleMania." Somehow, this was fucking amazing, but Io Sky counters into a top rope Hurricane Rana. She immediately follows up with the over the moonsault. 1, 2, 3. We have a new women's champion on the road to WrestleMania. Io Sky pins Rhea Ripley 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring to become the new women's world champion. They show the celebration in the ring. Rhea is on the outside screaming and crying. Raw goes off the air. Again, another great show. Now, they did a segment afterwards with Rhea, asking Rhea about what went down and all that good stuff. And she flat out says, I've lost everything. I've lost my title. I've lost I've lost Damian. Because Damian got transferred to Smackdown. She's lost the Judgment Day. She's like, Bianca Belair was my friend. I don't think we're friends now. Io Sky was my friend. I don't think we're friends now. So she says that she feels she's on an island all by herself. Great promo from Rhea. We'll see what happens next week. But yes, Io Sky versus Bianca Belair will be taking place now at WrestleMania 41. Just what an amazing 3 shows in a row. So we're going to, of course, move on to NXT. We're going to do quick over this. Sol Ruca and Zarya defeated WWE Women's United States Champion Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Jada Parker and Kalani Jordan defeated Kalani Jordan in one hell of a women's match. That was actually a really, really good match. Jordan Grace defeated Cora Jade via referee stoppage, mainly because I think Cora legitimately got hurt in the match again. So hopefully Cora can get better. Hopefully Cora Jade will feel better soon. And it's not a serious injury. But yeah, Jada Parker and Kalani Jordan was awesome. We move on to Trick Williams versus Kale Dixon. Kale Dixon, I think he's one of what do you call it? Andre Chase's students. So he talks shit in the back to Trick. Trick's not in the mood for his shit. They book a match between the two. Kale Jordan gets in the ring. Was it Kale Jordan? Kale Dixon gets in the ring. And fuck all if Trick just gets in the ring, hits the trick shot, and the referee immediately just knocks him the fuck out. And that's the match. Trick calls out Eddie Thorpe. Eddie Thorpe comes up. They have, words between the two. I think it's leading to another match, if I remember right. I'm not 100%. I wasn't really paying attention, in all honesty. But then we move on to the main event for NXT, where the Don himself, Tony D'Angelo, defends the NXT North American Championship against Shawn Spears. Shawn Spears comes out over Tony D'Angelo to win and become the new NXT North American Champion. There was a little bit of tomfoolery around the match, but it's almost like they're trying to break up the family, trying to break up Stax, or they're doing something with Stax finally, which I'm okay with. I like Stax; he's good. But that's the weekly wrap up. We have two new champions: Io Sky winning the Women's World Championship on Raw, and then on Tuesday, Shawn Spears winning the NXT North American Championship. Just what a great week for wrestling just out there. So let's talk about a little bit of news. The Hall of Fame is coming up. We already know two of the entrants going in, Triple H and Michelle McCool. So, of course, there's rumors out there. I don't know about this one just because I think Demolition's going in. And I don't think they're going to put two tag teams in unless they wait till next year to do Demolition. But the rumor going around right now is that the natural disasters, earthquake and typhoon, John Tenta, where's his name? John Tenta and Fred Ottman will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. That's the rumor going around. It's not been confirmed with WWE. Again, I personally would go with Demolition. I think Demolition means more to the Hall of Fame, brings more to the Hall of Fame than the natural disasters. But I will say I met Fred Ottman a couple years ago at Horror Hound. And nice guy, but good Lord, he will talk your ear off about his career. He will not stop talking about it. But if they do go in, this will be Earthquake going in posthumously, I guess is the word to say. As John Tenta, Earthquake, Golga, Shark, Avalanche, whatever you want to call him, did pass away way back in like 2006 from colon cancer, I believe. Bladder cancer. I'm sorry, it's bladder cancer. Fred Outman is still alive, so he'd be able to take the reward. Either way, both teams deserve to be in there. I believe that I believe Demolition should go in first. That's just me, though. The other thing I wanted to talk about was I don't know how many people noticed it or not. Whoever watches YouTube channels and old wrestling on YouTube, about a couple months ago, WWE put out the WWE Vault to put up a lot of stuff on YouTube that was on their networks. Well, either yesterday or today, now WWE has added a WCW Vault. So if you were like me and you grew up with WCW, you can go to the YouTube page. They were playing Thunder live last I looked. An episode of Thunder. So check them out because I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be great. I love old WCW. But other than that, I don't think we really have too much more WWE news. Natalia's going to go compete for GCW at GCW for Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 13. Other than that, the usual stuff. And they are doing a feud. I don't know who if anybody knows this or not, but Sabu is retiring this year on WrestleMania weekend. He is going to wrestle Joey Janela in his final match, and I guess some point this weekend, at the GCW event, Sabu attacked Joey Janela and left him bloodied in the ring. So that's something to look forward to if you like indie wrestling. Joey Janela versus Sabu. I don't like Joey Janela, so but other than that, that's gonna do it for the week. If you want to find me anywhere on the internet, you can look up the Bloody Binge Movie Podcast on Facebook, on X, on YouTube. On Facebook, we have a group. We have the group page. We have a group page for everything. We have a group page for Hardcore Heels. We have a group page for Shivers, and we do have a group page for the Bloody Binge Movie Podcast. So check us out on Facebook. Check our YouTube page out. We do need some more subscribers on YouTube. Check out the X page. I do post a lot on all of it. We also do have a Hardcore Heels X page that I post a lot of wrestling stuff on. So check out that as well. Also, don't forget, tomorrow afternoon at 4:05 p.m., you can join myself and Friday as we turn back the time to 1985 for some cheesy, really cheesy 80s action as we watch American Ninja. Of course, on the show, you will get a recap of the week's haunt industry and horror movie news. Not only that, I believe somebody might be joining us tomorrow, at least for the news part. Somebody who may have gone to Transworld last week. That is a very possibility. Plus, I'm trying to talk somebody else into joining us tomorrow who hasn't been on a podcast in a little bit. If he's not too travelogued or jet lagged. We'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll see who's going to be on the show tomorrow. But you could tune in to watch American Ninja. Next week, we're going to watch Unlucky Charms as part of our St. Patrick's Day episodes. But also go check out the YouTube page and our TikTok page at Sewer Dweller. You got the pictures. Yeah, he wants to. He was saying he's going to try to get on the show tomorrow to show the pictures. If not, you guys got to wait till Saturday when I believe Pyle will be doing a Chainers on Saturday. So you'll have to wait till Saturday to see pictures from Transworld. I talked to him a little bit earlier today. There's some stuff going on in the haunt industry that's was the big talk of Transworld this weekend. A lot of people noticed it. That they posted it. The news story I'm talking about was posted Saturday morning, right before the third day of Transworld. So we'll talk about that tomorrow as well. As all the news going on. Also, don't forget, we do have a TikTok page that I advertise on, and if you're ever interested in seeing any of my haunted house characters, we are at Sewer Dweller, SEWARDWELLER on TikTok. Check it out. Yesterday, I went to a pioneer cemetery, and I'd made a video of my trip, my adventure there. It was a cemetery that was like 200 years old, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to see. This is because the older cemeteries I've always gone to and I've always seen are the ones that are part of major historical attractions like Colonial Williamsburg, Arlington Cemetery, and that. These are just tombs or graves and tombstones that are just in the middle of a neighborhood. Like you have to walk through somebody's yard and up a set of stairs to get to this cemetery. Like if I was that person, I'd kind of be a little pissed that there's a graveyard next to my house for starters, and that people are walking through my yard to get to this graveyard. But if you look at the video, you'll see there's a lot of like broken tombstones and a lot of damage. They've had problems with vandals over the years. I mean, the graves themselves are right around 200, maybe 150 to 200 years old. So natural wear and tear too. But they've had a lot of problems with vandals breaking the tombstones. But it was a pretty cool video. You can check it out. It's only like 4 minutes long, I think. I don't even think it was that long of a video. There's a total of 15 people buried in that graveyard. I'm trying to look it up now. Like I said, I don't even think it was. Yeah, it doesn't tell me how long the video. Oh, 265.98 seconds. Let me see if I can bring up the video on the phone to tell me how long it was. 4 minutes and 26 seconds. It was, like I said, it was something cool that I was out and about yesterday, and it just happened upon. Yeah, I believe it is perfect for a corpse garden. So yeah, I let Jen, of course, you have permission to post everything up on the corpse garden. But go check it out. I also got videos on there advertising, the show and that. There's also videos. Cupid may or may not have kidnapped and murdered somebody. We don't on there. We don't know. There's other videos of Coney, and hopefully I can get other stuff added up there. It's also, I did upload the same video to the YouTube channel, so check it out. And I believe that's going to do it for the week. Everybody, be good to each other. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. We might do another one next week. We'll see how crazy next week is. The schedule might have to change a little bit because I did just get a new job today. So the schedule might have to change a little bit. I'll do what I can to accommodate it. But we'll see what happens when I get some schedules going. But guys, be good to each other. Watch wrestling. And of course, keep watching horror. Good night, everybody.